All right, so we are joined by Velma Jackson alumni Kayla Kelly, class of 2018, right?
Yes.
Class of 2018, one of our best students we've ever had come through here, graduate of Alcorn State University and about to be graduate student at Alcorn State University. So she's done some amazing things, member of Sigma Gamma Rho sorority, and we'll talk about that as well. So we're recording this for all of our juniors and seniors here at Velma Jackson High School, as well as all the juniors and seniors in Madison County Schools. This is our College Career Readiness B class, and we've had a few alumni come back and tell us about their high school experience and things they've gained, as well as their transition into college and things they had to learn once they got to those colleges. So we'll let you talk about the things that you did when you were here at Velma Jackson and how that prepared you and your experience at Alcorn. So why don't you start with that and tell us all the things you did while you were here with us?
Okay. Well, my name is Kayla Kelly, and while I was at Velma Jackson, I really didn't, talk much. I kind of stayed to myself, as Coach Peggy would tell y'all. I kind of stayed to myself, but I did make sure I got my work done. That was my number one priority, make sure my classes was good, make sure I had all my, my grades up to par, getting ready to go to college. And, at first, my initial plan was to go to Mississippi State. I really didn't know if I was going to go to Alcorn, but once I got to Mississippi State, once they did like the college tour in high school, and I got to Mississippi State, I was like, oh, yeah, I don't think I want to go to Mississippi State. So that's when Alcorn came about, and my sister was already going to Alcorn, and we ended up having to go there one day, and I'm just like, I like the feeling of, just the campus, the people, and it felt at home. So once I did get there, I was like, okay, I know what I got to do. I ain't got my parents with me to wake me up to go to class. I don't have no teacher asking me to do my work. So it's all on me now. I got to figure out what I got to do. So once I got there, I set an alarm every day with every time, my class was, so I could get up because I ain't want to miss no class. And you can ask Miss Thompson, the very first time I got there, I had a chemistry class. And I was like, the lady was like, take out sheet paper, y'all got a test. Leaving on the very first day. And I'm like, we got a test on the very first day? Literally, yes. So we took the test and she graded the test. And the next class, she was just like, most of everybody in here failed the test, but I didn't. And I was like, it was because of Miss Thompson that I had a great chemistry teacher that taught me everything. And I literally passed the test. And it was just a test to see where we was at before she got started, into her lesson. So I had taken Miss Thompson. I was like, Miss Thompson, thank you for, being a great teacher and just, getting me prepared and things like that. And so, yeah, I got out. At first, I used to be sheltered into my room. I didn't really get out as much. But then I met some amazing friends. They was like, you got to get out. You can't just sit in your room and just, watch TV all day. So once I got out on campus, I started to, open up more and, just really starting to make friends. So it was very great experience. And I'm ready to go back. Like I miss it already. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm ready to go back. I'm ready to get in grad school and see where that goes. So it definitely was a great experience. And like I said, being at Velma Jackson, having the great teachers that I had, from, Coach Pygett to Mr. Dyson, Coach Wells, teaching me everything, that definitely helped plan for college and every advice I took.
Yeah, and before we get into the how you got to Alcorn, one thing you did mention when you were here is a lot of students will complain about having to present, but you told me that really helped you become a better speaker and a better presenter, because in a college setting, whether it's a small school or a big school, you're going to have to be able to do that because they want you to that corporate world. So talk about how that got you ready because you took it so seriously.
Yeah, when being in your class, definitely preparing, like how you had us present poster boards and presentations, that really helped me get out of my speaking zone and just being quiet and not want to talk in front of the whole class and things like that, because not knowing that once you get to college, it's a lot of presentations that you have to do. It's a lot of talking in front of the class that you have to do. And if you never done it, you're going to be kind of this sheltered person. You're going to be scared to get up. but your class definitely brought that out of me, and I'm so thankful that I took your class. And now I'm just talking to person, and everybody that sees me now be like, you way more outspoken than what you were. And I was like, yeah, thank God to Coach Pike getting, everybody else that pushed me to, open up, having to do presentations. So if you don't want to get that zero, you're going to do it. You're going to get it done.
Yeah, and you always did a great job on it. But again, it's important for, everybody watching this now and later. We don't make you present to be mean or to, to be hard. It's all about getting you out of your comfort zone, because in a college setting, that is so important to be able to do that, and also in a corporate setting. Now, now you went to, you originally said Mississippi State, and then you went to Alcorn. And that's important for everybody to visit these campuses to see the kind of atmosphere it is, because Mississippi State's a huge school. When they got 22,000 students, it's easy to get lost in the shuffle. So if you want that smaller atmosphere, a smaller school like an Alcorn State could be a great fit. Now, before you went to Alcorn, what did you do to get ready as far as the ACT and getting ready to be a college freshman? Because we're drilling the ACT a lot now. And as you know, as anybody, it's extremely important. So talk about what you did to prepare for the ACT and what avenues that opened for you by taking it seriously.
I studied more. I practiced, and I have a practice book. What's so crazy? I have an ACT practice book. So I studied that, and by Velma Jackson doing the ACT prep classes and things like that, that definitely helped me get the score to at least get into Alcorn. So I say, especially take the ACT seriously. Don't hold back, because I feel like if I would have went and took it one last time, I probably would have got a higher score than I did. But never take it for granted. You study and practice, and you keep going, and make sure that you get the ACT score that you need, especially to get in there and get scholarship. Because I ended up not getting a scholarship, but I had to pay out of pocket. And let me tell you something, it hurts when you have to pay out of pocket for school and things like that. But I'm glad I made it through.
Yeah, and now going to grad school, because you graduated this past spring at Alcorn, and now you're getting ready to enter a graduate program. So talk about that graduate program and why you chose it and what career path that's going to lead you to.
Well, my graduate program is physical therapy, and yeah. So that's the hard part, because now I'm prepping to take the GRE.
Okay.
And that's one thing you have to take in order to get into grad school for physical therapy. No matter where you go, you have to take the GRE. So I'm prepping for that. And, no matter where I go, because I'm looking at different schools right now, probably like Arkansas or somewhere in Vegas. But as long as you know you did the work and the grades, like how I know I did the grades, and I came out of Alcorn, and I know I posted my grades. I was proud of myself, because I literally in high school, I had a couple of C's here and there, but I graduated Alcorn. I had a 3.6 GPA.
Wow.
I had all A's and B's and only one C on my transcript. Every other class was all A's and B's. So that's, I'm saying, push to make sure you give them A's and B's, because a lot of programs, especially grad programs, they looking at what you did in college now. They not looking at high school. They looking at what you did in college. And if you're not proving, what you did, it's not going to, help. So and I think that's another one thing that helped me, because I was just talking to an advisor at the grad school, and she was telling me because of my grades that I actually can get scholarships now. So so I'm thankful for that. And she was just telling me, where can I apply to get the scholarship, things like that. So praying to the good Lord, I might not have to pay for grad school. So
that's awesome. Now, and that's a very difficult program, because you hear a lot of kids say, I want to work in the health related fields, I want to get into physical therapy, and they think it's just throwing people a ball and things like that. So talk a little bit about that program and some of the classes you had to take to get even to get to this point to apply for grad school.
Physical therapy is definitely not easy. Yeah, I'll tell anybody that. My dad especially, he definitely think that it's, kind of easy. And I'm telling him, no, it's not that easy to just get into, grad school with that. And, I had to take some classes. I ended up having to take physics 1 and physics 2.
Wow.
Yes, I had to take Chem 1, Chem 2, Chemistry 1, Chemistry 2, Biology 1, Biology 2, Microbiology, I had to take calculus. Those are some hard classes when you have, and then you have, especially in the science class, when you get on up into microbiology and things like that, you have to know the bones. So if you don't know the bones of the body, that's definitely gonna be a struggle for you. So, but the thing with me was I love science. So it kind of helped me out in the long run because all my science class, I was able to get through because I love science. But you definitely have to prepare yourself. And once you get into that grad program, it ain't just no, smaller classes like how you regular biology do. These are literally kinesiology classes. You gotta do your internship and things like that. And in that setting that I've been looking at, you literally have to make sure that you know every bone and where it's placed there, because if not, you can mess somebody up the wrong way. It's not just, throwing the ball or making sure, that they just able to, move again. You definitely gotta be there to help them and know which part of their body that you messing with, because you don't want to break anything else that's already, probably messed up. So
Yeah, you
yeah,
could be
it's
killing somebody's
definitely,
livelihood. If somebody
yeah,
somebody can't go back to work, that's a very big deal. So yeah, you had to know all the muscles, all the bones, all the ligaments, what caused the injury, how to, if they had
yeah,
the surgery, how they repair that, and you got to work with the doctors, and that goes back to being able to communicate. You got to talk to these doctors, the people that perform the surgery. You got to be able to talk to the nurses and say what kind of symptoms that they had. You got to know how to prepare for all that. So some of these kids that want to get mad when we make them communicate and things, all that comes in handy in these fields. And the more you can communicate, the more you can sell yourself, because a great physical therapist has got to be a great communicator.
yeah. And that's while we're talking about that, I'm actually doing my shadowing hours at a physical therapist office. And that's one thing that they're big on. You have to communicate with your patient. You have to make sure that they're feeling okay. And you can't just, put them on this machine and leave them with it. And, make sure you have to make sure the machine is not hurting them, it's not tearing, anything up worse or, things like that. You have to be a big communicator. And I actually had to take oral communication while, at Alcorn to get me paired for, physical therapy. So everything also, it works in hand together. So you're not just taking these classes for no reason. These are classes that gonna prepare you for the real world and gonna prepare you for your job that you're trying to do.
Yeah, and also another great thing about Alcorn is some of these smaller schools is you were able to get that one-on-one attention from these professors.
Yeah.
A class at Mississippi State, you could be having 200-300 people in a class. That's not going to be the case at Alcorn. So how important is that to be able to work with your professors on a one-on-one level in any department that you're in there?
It's very important because I still to this day I still can communicate with some of my advisors and some of my professors that I had at Alcorn. So that is very important to, if you have a problem, don't be scared, raise your hand. Just like in high school, they tell you, raise your hand. So in college, if you have a problem, raise your hand. If you don't want to raise your hand, make sure you can, because they have their office time listed on their door. Whatever their office time is, you go and you talk to them. I went to my professors plenty of time, hey, I need help with this. I don't understand this. And they literally, will set me down. I'm gonna show you, explain this to you. So they big on communication too, and you have to make sure, because if not, they don't just know you like that unless you're outspoken and you always answering questions in class. If not, they're not gonna just remember your name like that. They're not gonna remember your face. So that's one thing I made sure I did do. I made sure I left a good impression, and my professors knew exactly who I was before I left.
Yeah, and I just got a couple more before I get to the students' questions. But because I know you originally want to go to Mississippi State, but what are some things that an HBCU can offer that some of the larger PWIs cannot? Because coming at Velma Jackson, what I've been hearing over the last several years, and I understand, I understand different perspectives. Everybody's different. I've heard kids say, "Well, I'm sick of being around Black people all the time. I've been around them for years. I want to experience something different," and I get that. But at the same time, what can that HBCU offer that maybe the PWI cannot?
Like you said, that HBCU, they can offer that one-on-one time with your professors. They can offer, Alcorn, they big on like family wise, when something happened, we all able to come together as one, and just stick together. Um, Great. they have some great professors, and that, at college, PWIs, yeah, you might be able to, enjoy yourself, and they probably not notice because it's a bigger class. They might not notice that you're missing, but at an HBCU, some teachers, they notice, okay, something's going on with this child. She not been coming to class, just different things like that. So it's just all about where you feel comfortable at and how you feel comfortable. Because like I said, I went to view Mississippi State. I was like, no, that's not. I seen the bigger size class, and like, I don't think I could be able to handle that. Versus going to HBCU, I feel like I was at home. I feel like, I can really enjoy myself here. So it's basically where you coming from and how you feel like you will fit in, especially going from a HBCU or an all black, high school to a PWI versus an HBCU. But at the end of the day, it's your choice, and you have to figure out which way you want to go.
Yeah, and it's not just that. Even if you wanted to go to you want to go to a Delta State where it's not as big,
yeah.
It's all about getting lost in the shuffle. Because I always say I went to Madison Central. There were 500 people in my graduating class. I went to Southern Miss, and even for me, it was a little bit overwhelming. It's tough to get used to. So it's important to mentally prepare yourself to know if that's the way you want to go. You've got to get used to that. Before I get to the students' questions, we got to talk about, you remember Sigma Gamma Rho sorority, great MPHC organization, and we've had several members from other organizations. But I want to hear a little bit about your experience with Sigma Gamma Rho, and to let these kids know that are interested in MPHC that it's not just the stepping and the strolling and wearing the colors, which is all cool, and I've been to step shows, and it's a lot of fun doing a lot of cool things on campus, but it really is so much in the community, so much service, and it really is a great professional networking opportunity.
Yes, well, I originally didn't even think that I was gonna pledge anything. I went to college not even thinking about pledging, and it was just one of my friends at the moment. She was dragging me out of my room. She was like, "We can go to the probate," and at the time it was a Semi-Gamma Rho probate. So I was like, "Okay, I'll go." I went, and I saw it and realized I was interested in it, and I looked up on it. So that's how I ended up becoming a SGBO. But you have to do the work. It's not just stepping and strolling and what people see all the time. We actually do community service work. We actually go, like, we had to just a couple months ago, we had to go feed the homeless and different things like that. And I Centennial just passed, and that's what they're big on. They're big on how you impact your community and how well y'all are interacting, with the people around you. And you have to do a lot of work to get there too. I say make sure you get out and, just show your face and things like that. And it's just, like I said, it's an amazing organization. I'm glad I did join, but it's just not all about the stepping in the stroke. You gotta make sure your grades are up to par. You gotta make sure your GPA is there, because they big on grades, GPAs, and things like that. So you gotta definitely, if you're interested in it, you just gotta make sure you're doing the work.
Yeah, and also if somebody doesn't want to be a MPHC, and it's not for everybody, but how there's so many things on campus that somebody can get involved with as far as student organizations that you say, well, I'm not really into the whole Greek thing. It's really easy to still find your place on campus at Alcorn.
Yes, they literally, we have a whole week where it's full of organizations. They have like a organizational fair, and everybody's in the gym, and you just walk around the table, you look at and you ask questions. No matter where you know what I'm saying, where you choose to do, I would end up being in Heroes. That's it's like a educational, it help educate students on about being proactive, and watch what you do and how with sex and things like that. And it was definitely a good experience for me, joining different organizations and helping me, because that's the first thing I did before I even decided I wanted to pledge. I joined different organizations to also add to my resume, because things that people look at that,
Yep.
once you get out, they look at different things of what you did, and if you show support in your community. So
Yeah, and that's also great networking, even in some of the professional organizations to tie in. You're doing the job shadowing. That's somebody you can meet through a student organization.
Mm-hmm.
But I do have a few questions from the students, and these are all juniors. But this first one is Deshauna Woodard, and she asked, when you first started college, how hard was it for you to adjust?
It actually wasn't that hard for me to adjust. The only thing it was hard for me to adjust from is literally being away from home because I wasn't, used to being, far away from home like that. So once I did get to campus, I just told myself, hey, this is just a new stepping stone for you, to direct you in your path that you're going. And eventually, once you get older, you're gonna have to live by yourself anyway. So you gotta, learn what to do. And so it wasn't that hard. If you good with getting up in the morning classes are for you. If you're not good with getting up in the morning, don't get morning classes. But I knew me, so I had all 8 o'clock. I had a 6 o'clock class, and I had a 7 o'clock and an 8 o'clock class. So I made sure I got all my classes done in the morning. So by 12 p.m. noon, I had all the free time I wanted.
Yeah, but the thing, and I tell kids this all the time, that late class is cool your first or second year, but you get into your major, some of those classes are only offered at 8 o'clock. So I would suggest at least doing a couple of those to get used to it, because if you're just taking the noon classes and then you get to your major and that class is offered one time and it's at 8 a.m.,
that is true.
It's like you would say, you either go or it's a big fat zero.
Yeah, that is true, because I did all the science, especially science. If you go and you a science major, more than likely your labs are gonna be late. I've had 5:30 labs, 6 o'clock labs. So I know how I feel. Then you in there all night from 5:30, 6 o'clock to like 9 o'clock at night, depending on how long your labs go. So yeah, that is true. If you at least take a couple, because I did have a couple of classes that was like later in the evening once I first got there, because I had talked to my advisor and she was trying to, help me rearrange some things. So that kind of will help you prepare for, these labs and stuff that you have to do this late. So
yeah, I never got that. That was so dumb to have the lab so late in the day. I don't know why they do that, but anyway, this is Ashley Stanford, and she asked, at Alcorn, what was your favorite class?
Ooh, what was my favorite class? Biology. I love science, but I think biology was my favorite between that and physics. I actually came to love physics. I thought I was going to, dislike it, but I actually became to love it. So that was them the two classes I definitely love.
This is Alexander Williams, and he asked, if you were not going into physical therapy, what career would you be going into?
That is a good question. I really don't know, because my life situation that I was going through while I was in high school, that really kind of diverted me to becoming a physical therapy once I, had to learn how to walk again after, finding a tumor on the tip of my bone and things like that. So I really wasn't, just thinking about, what really I wanted to do at that point. But once, life happened, it really gave me an idea. And so, yeah, I really wouldn't be able to tell you.
well, yeah. So if you're doing something you love, it's all about that. This is Jamiria Luckett, and she asked, what was the number one factor in changing your mind from Mississippi State to Alcorn?
The class size. I knew for a fact that I wanted that one-on-one help with the teachers. So I knew once I seen the class sizes and sitting in there with everybody else, I just knew that I wasn't gonna be able to get that one-on-one help, because it's literally over a whole bunch of students in this class, and you sitting here trying, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, they might remember you for that day, but come tomorrow, they got more students. They might not remember your face, like it's a smaller class college where, it's only 25 y'all in one class, and they can remember your name and, okay, yeah, she came and asked me this question yesterday. So that's my biggest factor that made me not want to go.
Yeah, and that's nothing. It's nothing against Mississippi State, because it could be a great fit for people, but you have to really understand what fits you best as a student. Just understand when your friends go somewhere does not mean you need to go there, and that could be even be the case for Alcorn. If Alcorn's not a good fit for you, you don't need to go there just because Kayla Kelly had a great experience there. You really have to find the best fit for you. I just got two more from the students. This is LaRodrick Harris, and this is a great question. He asked, what strategy would you suggest to prepare for the ACT?
If you know how to study, my way of studying, I have to put things in different colors. So I got note cards and I got different color pens and different color markers. And the important things I, wrote down in different colors, and then the answer I go back and write in different colors. It's all about how you learn. But I definitely, once I got the book, I highlighted different things. And that was one thing they'll teach you in the ACT prep class, to highlight the important stuff that you read in the passage, or highlight, the important numbers and things like that. So that was one of the biggest things that helped me prep for the ACT to get me through.
Awesome. I just got one more from the students, and this is Joari Archie. And he asked, was it hard knowing that you were shy to be in the social scene at Alcorn?
At first it was, but once I got to, getting out and enjoying, campus life, I eventually, anybody can tell you now, I came home once I graduated. My mom was like, "You're not the same person anymore." I'm like, "What you mean?" She was like, "You used to be sheltered in, like you used to be just so quiet, and now you're so open. I talk more, I speak my mind." Like it's definitely a big help. Like I said, taking oral communication and taking your class and being able to have to stand up in front of the class, knowing that I was shy and I was nervous, it kind of helped bring that out of you. So I say keep practicing with that. If you know you want to be like out in the open and you want to be able to make new friends, then definitely try to practice on, standing up in front of the class, meeting new people and things like that, because that's something that you definitely have to do on college campus in order to, you know what I'm saying? Because you can be by yourself some days. I'm not saying you can't, but those days where, okay, you want to go to a party or something like that, it's always to have those great friends, because I literally had great friends, but we went to, different parties, and we made a plan. Who was the designated driver? Who wasn't gonna drink? Who's gonna drink? So it was literally, we all had that planned out very good. So you just gotta make sure you get out there and you meet those great friends that's gonna actually push you, and not just going out. I had friends that pushed me to go to class, pushed me to get up, make sure they stay on me and I stayed on them with their work and things like that. So we made it out together. And so that was our biggest thing. We came in together, we was gonna leave together. And that's how we made it through.
That's awesome. Oh, well, Kayla, we're almost out of time. But before we go, and thank you so much for joining us. But before we go, you were walking these same halls in the same school, sitting in these same seats with these same teachers, and you've gotten a degree from a great university. You're part of a great organization, and you're getting ready to take a huge step into a great career. So you were coming from the same area these kids are coming from. So what can they do to follow the footsteps of great alumni like you?
Like I said, prep more. Make sure you keep your grades up, and make sure y'all just make sure everything is up to par. Don't lack, because high school, once you get into college, they look at those grades from high school. And then once you hit grad school, they look at those grades from college. So just keep, doing what you're doing. Don't give up. Never stop. That was one of the things I always kept in my mind. No matter where I went, no matter what I did, I'm never going to give up. I'm going to be great. And I came from this small school, but I'm going to go and show these people what I'm capable of, what I made. I might came from a small school, but I'm gonna show you how big I am. So, y'all keep that mindset of, oh, I can make it out and I will, then you'll get far in life.
That's awesome. Well, Kayla, we are so proud of you, and we are so proud to call you an alumni of Velma Jackson. You're just such a great representation of our school, and great things are happening for you, and great things are going to continue to happen. So, thank you so much for doing this for us today.
Thank you.
All right, I'll talk to you soon, my friend. Go back to studying.
Okay.
All right, see ya.
All right.